Now it's time to hear from our Ellen Lewis and Lori. They're going to talk to you about being a shark.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to be bringing this to you with one of my newest org leaders, Lori Morris. All right. And so we are talking about this Jon Gordon book right here. It's The Shark and the Goldfish. So in our book club, back when like COVID first happened, I still have my sunglasses in my head. It's been one of those days. So back when COVID first started, we took to reading this book in our book club. What's happening? Okay. We took to reading this book in our book club, and it was perfect for what was going on, because this book is about adapting to change, which is what we have all been doing all this time. And so back at the beginning of it, we read this book together, and it was great. So to start things off, just a little bit from Jon Gordon, and then we'll kind of jump into it. And he says, dealing with waves of change is all about how we perceive and respond to the change we are facing. And he said, there's a belief that most people embark on a quest to find their destiny, but most people, often than not, through adversity and challenges, our destiny finds us. It is during these times that we ask the important questions and make decisions that positively change the courses of our lives. All right. So, and that's kind of what this is all about. And I think everybody listening can probably somehow relate to that, like something that has happened in their life that they feel like has changed the direction that they were going. Just some major like adverse situation that changed the direction you were going. Everybody who knows my story knows that filing for bankruptcy, losing our business and all that, it changed the direction that we were going, which what led me to Tupperware and all of you. All right. So, so Lori, do you want to go ahead and take over with your next part?
Sure. All right. So, Pam kind of touched on Shark Week and why we chose Shark Week. So if you think of the metaphor of what a shark does, is a shark in the ocean never stops moving, all right? It doesn't wait for food, it finds its food, all right? So if you think of a shark and a goldfish, what does a goldfish do? A goldfish swims around in circles, right? Kind of lollygags around, looking all pretty, swimming around in the bowl, and someone dumps food in there. And then if there's more than one goldfish, they have to try to get the goldfish or get the food that's in the bowl. All right. So it's fed to them. All right. A shark isn't fed. A shark is a shark, and it just swims around the ocean, finding its path and making its way. So what Jon Gordon asks in this book, are you a shark or are you a goldfish? Now, I think a lot of us in the business, we start out as a goldfish. Wow, I'm in the business. This is great. It's Tupperware. And it's going to sell itself. Well, Tupperware is one of the best known brands in the entire world. So from that aspect, yes, everyone knows what Tupperware is. But you can't just sit back and wait for people to come to you in the beginning. All right. Once you build your customer base, people will come to you and say, I need this, 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 and this. Okay. But you have to start changing your thinking that no one is going to hand it to you. You have to be a shark and you have to go forward and find it. So the mindset is we want to be sharks. And I think over the next 6 weeks, we're going to continue that journey into learning how to be a shark. All right. And in this book, Gordy, the goldfish, meets Sammy, the shark. And the difference is that he's determined, he's a leader, he shows him how to find food. And that's what your leaders in Tupperware do. Your direct uplines or any of the directors, any of the managers, any of the people in Champion are there to help you. So that is what the premise is. So Ellen is going to talk about some of the advice that Sammy gives to Gordy.
All right. So he says, every day you have a choice, whether you are going to be a shark or a goldfish, whether you're going to wait to be fed or whether you're going to go find your food. Each day you make this choice with your beliefs, thoughts, and actions. All right. So a shark or a goldfish. The choice is yours every single day. So the thing is bad things happen. The world is not always a pleasant place. At times, it seems like you are at the whim of the waves and the change in your life, because waves hit, right? And we've all experienced that in some way, shape, or form, a wave hitting us when we were heading in one direction and it knocks us completely off course. They knock you down and they throw you off balance. It is a secret that highly successful sharks are fully aware of. So it's important. You have more control than you think you do. And a lot of times people are just kind of, and we've all heard them. And maybe sometimes we've been one of those people, right? Because there are times you just kind of ready to throw your hands up in the air and you're like, you know what? Everything's happening to me. And you kind of go to this victim place instead of a place of trying to take action to get out of whatever that situation is. So you don't see yourself as a victim of circumstance. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be that person that sees themselves as a victim of circumstance. You believe you can influence your situation and your outcome by your positive thoughts, beliefs, and action. And you absolutely can. And we have a formula for you, okay? It is E plus P equals O, okay? So what that means is events plus positive responses equals outcome. And we've all heard the saying, right? You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your response. And that is what that is saying right there, right? It says they all used to be bad events that turned into good events. While they're in the midst of the challenge, they looked for the opportunity. So let's just kind of rewind a little bit and let's go back to when all of this COVID stuff happened, right? So that was a wave, right? And so we could look at that like a bad event, but we didn't. At Champion, we took action and we created good out of that event. And we looked at it as a challenge and an opportunity that we could rise to. And so, so it's so important that, you can embrace the change and make it your friend, learn from it, and ride that wave, all right? To thrive, you must embrace and ride the waves of change. All right, so Lori, let's talk to us about Gordy's journey.
Okay, so Gordy learning how to find food isn't always very positive in the beginning. And I think a lot of us, when we start our businesses, we wonder how we can find parties, even after all these years. I know we talk about it. Are you ever going to run out of parties? No. I know leaders, I've been in the business 5 years. I've never run out of parties. I know people have been in the business 15, 20, 25 years and have never run out of parties. But it's the negative thinking. All right. So Gordy, when he's learning how to find food, he feels defeated. I think as we all have. All right. So John says in the book, there are many in the ocean who want to focus on what they believe is impossible, not what is possible. They want to focus on the negative, not the positive. They are impossibility thinkers who believe that the ocean is a place where everything is scarce. They love to focus on stories that highlight how the ocean suffers from a lack of food, a lack of opportunity, and a lack of hope. And then there are those, like the ones you met yesterday, who tell you that you're not good enough, strong enough, or big enough to find food. They're imprisoned by their own limited thinking. So what Gordy has to overcome is the naysayers. And I think all of us, maybe at one time in our life, maybe you're experiencing now, there's naysayers. Oh, that's not going to work for you. Oh, you've tried 20 other businesses before. Those aren't going to work for you. So your fear of failure kind of rises to the surface, okay? But what he talks about is your belief must be greater than all of the negativity and doubt, all right? We always talk in Champion, choosing faith over fear, all right? And positive fish find more food. So you can choose to listen to the cynics and doubters and believe that success is impossible, or you can tune them out, strengthen your belief, and know that with faith and an optimistic attitude, all things are possible. All right. So when we talk about choosing faith over fear, and I think this is always something that I tell my team, but something that always sticks with me. Fear and faith, what fear and faith have in common is a future that hasn't happened yet. Fear believes in a negative future. Faith believes in a positive future. Both believe in something that hasn't happened yet. So I ask you, if neither the positive or the negative future has happened yet, why not choose to believe in a positive future? Why not believe that great things are coming your way? Why not have faith in the future and in your ability to create it? They choose to believe that a lot of people choose to believe that their best days are behind them, not in front of them. And, you know, that is what we overcome every day. Fear of change, fear of failing, fear of not being strong enough or fast enough or good enough, fear of starving, even fear of fear. There's a lot to be fearful about. So when all of this pandemic started, we talked about thriving instead of dying, right, Ellen? Or it was thriving. What were we talking about?
Thriving instead of surviving. Right? Just surviving, right. Like just getting by, right?
Yes. So, you know, it all starts with a positive attitude and faith over fear. All right. So go ahead, Ellen, and talk about how he progresses.
Okay. So Gordy, so here towards the end, you know, some of the things that Gordy would do is that he would go out and he'd just find food for himself, right? Find just enough food. And so that was something that was really important for him to recognize, that there was no substitute for hard work. If you want to thrive, you have to do more than just be positive. Being positive is essential and is where all the success starts. But to thrive, you must work harder than everyone else, right? He's saying everyone else in the ocean. There's no substitute for hard work. You know, they think, and this is the shark talking, and he says, they think I was chosen to find food and born lucky. But what they don't see is how hard I work. I work harder than anyone. I believe the harder you work, the more positive you are, and the luckier become. I'm also more focused than they are. And this is the second reason I thrive. I focus more than others. And so focus on finding food and tune out the distractions. So you're focused on finding business, right? And you're tuning out distractions. And so you want to ask yourself every day, what do I want? You know, are the answers, of course, you know, the answer, of course, is always food. I'm using food, right? And so really the answer, of course, is always business. It's income. It's, you know, more team members. It's things like that for us in our business. So then you ask, what are the 3 most important things I need to do today that will help me find these things, right? And so, so it's important that you tune out all the distractions that try to sabotage your success and focus on taking action. So think about some of the distractions that try to sabotage you from your success, right? Maybe it's Netflix, right? Maybe it's like binge watching something on TV, because sometimes you just want to like tune out, right? Let's just be honest. All right. Maybe it's a friend who's a naysayer. Maybe it's somebody negative, right, in your life. And that's a distraction. They're pulling you kind of away and shifting your focus. So maybe there's lots of different things that could be a distraction. Maybe it's just Facebook scrolling, right? Just spending, you know, so much time scrolling on Facebook and looking to see what everybody else is doing instead of focusing on where you want to go in your business and where you want to take it. Focus is something that can be learned and applied. It is a skill. You know, some people are like, well, I'm just not focused. My brain, it's fuzzy, right? And I have those days, don't get me wrong. I have medical reasons why my brain is fuzzy on some days. However, that means I just have to concentrate 4 times harder that day to get done the simple things on my task. And on a day when my head is clearer, I really go for it. Like I do that and above and beyond whatever it is I set out to do that day. I take full advantage, right? So that's like make hay while the sun is shining, right? So when I'm having a really great mental day, it is game on. I will just do way above and beyond what I can possibly do. All right. So everyone can learn to focus. And when they do, they'll start to thrive instead of merely survive. Lori, why don't you share your takeaway points right there real quick?
Okay. So I think I'm unmuted. Yeah. Okay. So the takeaway points, being a leader, whether you're a leader of yourself or a leader of one person or a unit or a team or an organization in Tupperware, you know that a leader takes, all right, it takes hard work and dedication. And people always ask, well, you know what, you're really good at that because, you know, you're a natural born leader. I think some people have more qualities. Maybe they like to talk in front of people, but maybe they're not as shy as others. But I really think, and John points out in this book, that leaders are made, leaders aren't born. So we can all be leaders, and it starts up here in our heads. It starts with our self-talk, all right? He talks about not settling. Don't settle for just whatever comes your way like a goldfish does. Every day that you choose to work hard and not settle is the day that leads to the life that you want. And I think that's what we're all doing here in Tupperware. You won't find food sleeping under a rock. Know what you want, work hard and focus on getting it, and learn. The most important thing that we have a champion that many, many organizations do not have is we learn from others and model their success. I mean, champion is success. We have a whole host of people becoming successful in many different areas. We all come from different backgrounds, different jobs, different families, and we all make it work. So, you know, find someone that is like you or you feel can help you, and maybe reach out. We cross-train, we help each other. So I'm getting a little off track with Champion. Whenever we read these books, and especially in book club when we do these, we always equate things back to Champion. I mean, John's talking about a shark and a goldfish, but we all go back to what we learn in Champion. So the last thing, the favorite quote from the book, you're not a victim, but a hero in your own inspirational story. And we all have our own story, and we don't compare because, as they say, comparison is the thief of joy. So that is where I will turn it back over to Ellen to close us up.
All right. So the key points that you want to take away from this is to ride the waves of change, and that you have more control than you think you do, to focus on the opportunity, not the challenge. You are not a victim, but a hero in your own inspirational story. And your belief must be greater than the chorus of negativity. Positive fish find more food. Trust in the ocean of abundance and expect success. Faith in a positive future leads to powerful action today. There is no substitute for hard work. And last but certainly not least, be humble and be hungry. All right, so that is The Shark and the Goldfish. That was abbreviated version of it. So you definitely, it's an easy read. I highly recommend investing in your mental future in the business in good business books, and this is one of them. Thanks.